Who really controls the global economy? There's a question almost everyone has thought about at some point. Who actually controls the global economy? Is it governments? Is it billionaires? Is it banks? Or is there something more hidden behind the system? Because when you look at how money moves around the world, it doesn't feel random. Trillions of dollars flow every day. Markets rise and fall. Currencies gain and lose value. Entire countries experience booms or collapse. And yet, most people feel like they have no control over any of it. So, who's really in charge? Let's start with what people often believe. Many people think the global economy is controlled by secret groups, hidden elites, powerful families, shadow organizations. You've probably heard names like Illuminati or global elites. The idea is simple. A small group of powerful people secretly control everything from behind the scenes. It sounds dramatic. And honestly, it's easy to see why people believe it. Because the system feels too big, too complex, too coordinated. But here's the reality. The global economy is not controlled by one single group. It's controlled by a system made up of different powerful players. And understanding that system is actually more important and more unsettling. Let's break it down. The first major player is governments. Governments set the rules. They create policies, taxes, regulations, and spending plans. They decide how money is distributed across society. But here's the catch. Governments don't fully control the economy because they depend on something else. The second major player, central banks. Central banks control interest rates. They control how much money is in the system. They can print money. They can slow down the economy or speed it up. And unlike politicians, central banks often operate independently. That means decisions affecting millions of people are made by a small group of unelected officials. Think about that. Interest rates go up, your mortgage becomes more expensive, your loans become harder to pay, your savings lose value. All because of a decision made in a room you've never seen. That's real power. The third player is financial markets, stock markets, bond markets, and global investors. These markets react instantly to news, policies, and expectations, and sometimes they influence governments themselves. If investors lose confidence in a country, money leaves, currency drops, borrowing becomes expensive, and governments are forced to respond. So in some ways, markets control governments, not the other way around. The fourth player is large corporations. Some of the biggest companies in the world are larger than entire countries. They control supply chains, technology, data, and resources. They influence prices. They influence jobs. They influence innovation. And in many cases, they influence policy through lobbying. That means they don't just operate in the economy, they shape it. The fifth player is global institutions. Organizations like the IMF and World Bank. They provide loans to countries, but those loans often come with conditions, policy changes, budget cuts, structural reforms. So when a country needs help, it doesn't just receive money, it receives direction. And that direction can shape its entire economy. Now here's where things get interesting. None of these players fully control the system alone, but together, they create something powerful. A network, a system of influence, where decisions, incentives, and reactions all connect. And once you're inside that system, it starts to control outcomes, not through conspiracy, but through structure. Let's take a simple example. Interest rates go up. Borrowing becomes expensive. Businesses invest less. Hiring slows down. Consumers spend less. The economy slows. No single person decided to hurt people, but the system created that outcome. And that's the key idea. The global economy isn't controlled like a machine. It behaves more like a system. a system with rules, incentives, and feedback loops. And those who understand the system have the most power inside it. Now, does wealth play a role? Yes, a huge one. The richest individuals and institutions have more influence because they control more capital. They can move markets, they can invest at scale, they can influence policy, but even they don't control everything. They operate within the system too. Another important factor is trust. The entire global economy runs on trust. Trust in currencies, trust in banks, trust in governments, trust in the system itself. If that trust breaks, everything changes. Markets crash, banks fail, economies collapse. And that's when people start asking questions again. Who's really in control? Because during crises, it feels like someone must be pulling the strings. But often, what we're seeing is the system reacting. And those reactions can feel chaotic or even unfair because they affect people differently. Some benefit, some lose, and that imbalance creates suspicion. Now let's talk about something deeper. Power in the modern economy is not just about control, it's about influence. Who can influence decisions? Who can influence markets? Who can influence behavior? Because influencing outcomes is often more powerful than controlling them. And in today's world, influence is everywhere. Governments influence policy. Central banks influence money. Corporations influence markets. Media influences perception. And together, they shape reality. So who really controls the global economy? Not a single group, not a hidden organization, but a complex system of power, influence, and incentives. And that system affects everyone, including you, because even if you don't see it, you're part of it. Your job, your spending, your savings, your decisions, all connect to the system, and the system responds. So the real question isn't just who controls the economy, it's how the system controls outcomes. And once you understand that, you start to see things differently, not as random, not as controlled by one hidden force, but as the result of interconnected decisions. And that's what makes it powerful and sometimes unpredictable. If you found this video interesting, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think really controls the global economy? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.